So the trailer is out and the reactions are in, Yanni.
Yes, and it's looking like a pretty positive reaction so far, even from us.
Yeah, so in case you guys missed it, we did release a special live Tarkon Byside episode where we went through and watched the trailer with all of you and kind of gave our response and what we thought of it.
Yeah, analyzed it as well.
Yeah, we did. Not as much as some other people. We didn't do the 0.25 times speed, except for on parts of the videos, rather than the entire video. As
I thought we did. You were complaining.
We practically did. So yeah, the reactions are in. So on this Tarkon Bysides episode, we are going to be going through the initial fan reaction from the Mortal Kombat trailer, as well as some recent articles that have been published regarding the trailer. There was also an interview with Hiroyuki Sanada, cast reactions, and also the director gave some insight of the trailer. And along with all that, we are actually bringing in Mr. Midnight Owl back, our Mortal Kombat script leaker, to kind of give his insights from the trailer and some of his opinions on it. So we got a special Toasty Tuesday episode for you today. Let's just jump right into this. Fan reactions. I mean, we got a lot of feedback from a lot of different people, so mostly positive, I would say, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, everybody has had their concerns, including us, about how the movie's going to end up and everything. And this trailer really blew expectations out of the water. Like, wow.
Yeah, it was a home run as far as trailer goes because it alleviated so many concerns that people had, in my opinion.
Yes, I've seen like reactions to the designs of the characters, especially, Sub and Scorp, the way things have gone down. Like, yeah, there's been a few people like, oh, well, this shouldn't have happened that way. But generally, everybody's happy, So I think it's great.
I think the positive reactions, reflected what we went through on that last Tarkon Bicep episode too.
Such as we
were going through the trailer, we were praising the costume design and praising effects and stuff like that. And, seeing some of the characters that we love show up. I think a lot of the fans had the same type of reaction to it. A few of the negatives I saw, people, of course, were concerned about Melina's look. I almost said Melania Trump again. Some of our fans were concerned with Melina's look just because, she doesn't have really either the MKX or the MK11 type design.
Or just the Melina design, full stop, really.
Yeah.
But apparently there's more to Melina that we have yet to see. So it's good to see that they're holding that back in the trailer.
That's right. So there have been some tweets from, I think it might have been Greg Russo, saying basically we haven't seen all there is to see yet with that character. So yeah, we'll see what we get there. The mouth design, I mean, it is not Melina-esque, but there could be more that happens with that we don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, we did speak on the analysis and reaction episode about how the tongue never showed up and they made a big thing about it. So I'm assuming based on, the comment that we haven't seen all of Melina yet, that's going to be a part of it. So it looks like we have something more to look forward to, which is good because they did show us a lot in the trailer, a lot more than we were expecting to see.
And I got a little bit more to add to that a little bit later on this episode when we start talking about the cast reactions, because they gave a little bit more insight to things that we did see in the trailer.
Interesting.
What other fan reactions have you seen?
Well, not so fan reactions as well, actually.
What do you have?
It's the one you sent me about who forgot to invite Chun-Li to the Mortal Kombat. That's the title. Who forgot to invite Chun-Li to the Mortal Kombat?
So Jezebel writer Shannon Melero, I think is how it's pronounced. She wrote a scathing review of the Mortal Kombat trailer. And out of all the strong female characters that were presented, and as she says, quote,
let me just say this section from it. Honestly, it's so good. The actual wording makes it even better.
Go for it.
It starts off with, but being the astute film critic that I am, I immediately clocked a glaring error in the film. Where in all the realms is Chun-Li? If there is a battle for the fate of Earth, then don't we need all of the greatest warriors gathered? Which would include Chun-Li and her spinning bird kick that can knock a man's head clean off? Sounds like a pretty big plot hole to me that the ultimate street fight is supposed to be won by a ragtag team helmed by Sonya Blade. No offense to the Sonya stands.
That last comment, no offense to the Sonya stands, that drives me crazy.
It's so good. But I think the best part about this actually comes in the update. Jezebel has discovered the answer to our question about Chun-Li's erasure, and it is that Chun-Li is not a part of the Mortal Kombat Megaverse. Wow. It's just so good.
The rest of the article, Shannon does go on to be excited about the movie trailer, but the fact that this was written further perpetuates how bad the current entertainment media is right now.
Yeah, like everybody always says, it sounds like they don't know what they're talking about. No, now this is proof they don't know what they're talking about. I genuinely thought that this was a joke when Phantom sent this to me. I thought like, oh, they're just making, like a satirical article about the Mortal Kombat trailer, like throwing in random characters from other games. It was serious. I couldn't believe it.
So some of Shannon Mellero's other posts within Jezebel.com have been, imagine a 7-step procedure for opening and serving a Diet Coke to Donald Trump. Vice President Kamala Harris calls mass exodus of women from the workplace a national emergency, which it is. And we're allowed to have more than one great black tennis player at a time. So a lot of her articles seem very agenda-based. And I can't help but thinking her complaints about Chun-Li not being in Mortal Kombat has some sort of agenda to it. So that's just personal opinion there.
Yeah, I don't want to hate on anybody writing articles or whatever, but this is just what it comes down to is this is a very bad article. Yeah, this is, you got to know what you're talking about. And in this case, she very clearly did not.
Yes, but it was funny because, there are other Twitter fans that were saying the same thing. And I don't know if that was a joke or if they legit were upset that Chun-Li was not in Mortal Kombat. Or maybe they're just Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat fans.
It could have been. There was one comment on the meme realm, which I love. This one is quite obviously satirical, unlike this article. But why is He-Man or any of the Thundercats not in this movie? Thinking emoji. Never did like Dragon Ball Z too much anyway. Movie looks cool enough, but I don't remember any of this in the video game, and I played Killer Instinct lots of times. Land Before Time movies are a lot like the video game Primal Instinct. Check that out.
That needs to go on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's so good. I don't know why, but I feel like the name Justin just makes that even better.
Oh yeah, critic Justin.
It's just so good.
So for everybody disappointed that Chun-Li is not in Mortal Kombat, Chun-Li is not a Mortal Kombat character. Just to confirm that with you.
What?
Oh, Yanni.
No, but generally the fan reactions have been really good. There have been a few, I guess, complaints about a lot being shown. People have taken more to Cole Young as a character as well, having seen what we saw.
There's been a lot more acceptance of the Cole Young idea. I mean, people are still weary, but I think seeing that Mortal Kombat hasn't been degraded through that trailer has, left them more open-minded to having a Cole Young character in the film. But I have seen a lot of people ask, who is he?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that people are asking who is he is kind of, the point, like one of the negative points I have to bringing in a random new character like this. But I don't know, like I'm as I said, I'm hesitant about a new character. I am a lot more accepting of the fact that it's Lewis Tan playing him. Mm-hmm. As I've said before, I really want to see Lewis Tan like pull off a great role. But I'm seeing people complaining about people complaining that there's a new character, and it's like, come on, guys, it's Mortal Kombat. We have a roster of this many characters. We're now over 70, right? We have enough characters.
It is over 70.
Yeah. I think as of Armageddon, it was 64. And then obviously since then.
We got Combat Kids and everything.
Yeah. So and that's like some of the tweets I've seen are like, oh, well, we have Takeda, Kung Jin, Jackie Briggs, Cassie, all original characters with ties to the originals. This is the same thing. And it's just like, yeah, but the movie isn't what's canon. It's the games which are, like it's a weird sort of false equivalency, like in terms of arguments. Mm-hmm. But it's good to see Lewis Tan sort of backing up his character on social media as well. Because, yeah, like, obviously, a lot of us are going to complain. But, hey, like, it's also his role. It's his job. And maybe Cole Young is going to end up being good. So it's nice to see that, the passion,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if Cole Young is a character, a well-written character, like somebody that you get invested in, people are going to want to see Cole Young in the next movie because he's going to be something that they like out of this movie.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I've seen, based on that trailer, Cole Young seems to have been MKified, if you know what I mean. Like he's got the armor. It seems like it looked like a tonfa, but we were trying to figure out what it was during our analysis episode. And like he seems like he's going to be really cool. And one thing that I guess I need to actually tell myself, even because no secret, I'm not happy about the new character. But looking back at, say, Mortal Kombat Conquest, I was happy with Zero and Taja, right? I was happy with certain characters being brought in through the series. So I guess, yes, just got to treat it like that. So, hey, I'm a lot more on board now.
Did you include Zero and Taja in your count of 70 Mortal Kombat characters?
I actually did not.
Because you need to.
I definitely need to. I think we must be over 80 at this point, actually.
Oh, yeah. If you think about like all the, well, even consider all the additional media that's come out for Mortal Kombat, like comic books and stuff like that.
Oh, I wasn't even including those. So we're over 100 if that's the case.
And speaking of the comic books and stuff, sorry, I'm just dropping this in here. Did you hear that the Mortal Kombat Encyclopedia project, or the Mortal Kombat Compendium by Uppercut Editions, is finally getting released?
Yes. They've got a Kickstarter on the way.
Yes.
This is huge news. This is honestly huge.
It is. And for all of our fans who are interested, you need to go and check out the Mortal Kombat Encyclopedia Project at Encyclopedia MK on Twitter, and the Mortal Kombat Encyclopedia Project on Facebook, where you can find the Mortal Kombat Compendium and all the upcoming news to this Kickstarter release. They have a lot of cool tiers planned. So I can't wait to see this actually get released, because the reason I thought about this is they actually have every single character, including all those one-off characters that we were mentioning, in their compendium.
Yeah, and you guys can all be involved in the creation, it seems, based on the polls and such that the Encyclopedia page is tweeting. So go get involved. Tell them what you want, you know? Like, this is awesome. Like, I've been following this project for as long as I remember, you know? And it's actually about to happen. This is so exciting.
This is big news for Mortal Kombat fans.
Yeah, this is huge news for not just Mortal Kombat fans, but for Mortal Kombat, especially the developers, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. They're going to finally have an encyclopedia that they can reference rather than making shit up on the go.
So, yeah, go let them know that you're interested. Go vote on what you'd like to see in the different tiers on the Kickstarter. Go get involved with the project in some manner. You know, this is an amazing time.
And we have confirmed with the staff that the new movie is going to be included in this compendium. So, I mean, it's literally going to be everything Mortal Kombat.
So exciting.
So, besides all that, there was a recent interview, wasn't there, with Hiroyuki Sanada?
Yeah, so Sanada is playing Scorpion, and based on the trailer, looks like he's going to pull off a very good Hanzo and Scorpion.
In my mind's eye, he is Hanzo. Yeah. Like, ever since they made Hanzo a thing again in the Mortal Kombat games, like with Mortal Kombat X and 11's version of him, he is Hanzo.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Like, we were kind of concerned about the fact that, you know, he's going to be handling all these action scenes, which is very weird because we have just seen him in loads of projects with him pulling off some crazy action. But he's proven in that trailer, like, oh, no way, I've got this, you know? And so, in the trailer, in the interview, he straight up says, like, this was the heaviest or the most intense action that he's had to get into for a while.
That's cool.
But what I love is that he understands the importance of Hanzo and of Scorpion, and he wanted to bring sort of the proper culture as well to Scorpion. And it's nice to see how he says, I tried to create an original style. Since Hanzo Hasashi is a character of Japanese descent, I tried to make authentic movements. And you can see it. You can see in his actions in the trailer. Like that fight scene, whew, you know, like the one where they're attacking him in feudal Japan.
Oh, yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah, so he actually kind of jumps straight into these kendo type poses, which is what the Japanese currently practice for basically samurai sword fighting, but with big bamboo swords. And he kind of gets into those positions as soon as he enters the village and he notices something's wrong. So I think that's a big benefit of casting an actual Japanese person to play Scorpion.
Yeah, and this wouldn't have worked say MK11, actually, in my opinion, because MKX, the samurai role was mostly given to Kenshi.
Yeah. And then, you know, also pre-MKX, we didn't really see Hanzo as much. I mean, we knew who he was. We knew he was Scorpion, but he didn't have his own characteristics. He was Scorpion.
Yeah. And also, we have to bear in mind that over the years, he's had different sort of weapons. And honestly, I remember, or I sort of attribute the more dual swords approach with Hanzo and Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
But MK11 obviously has him being more, Japanese katana style, samurai style. And I think that Sanada really pulled it off. And I found the quote. He says, "But this is more demanding than any movie I shot in the last 15 years, I think."
I think. Was there anything else? Any other highlights from that interview?
Basically, he was saying that everybody knows Scorpion's weapons and his style, so he felt a lot of pressure, but I really think he has managed to capture Hanzo perfectly based on what I've seen already. And I know that one of the say critiques of the trailer is the get over here not having as much of an oomph as people expected. But firstly, we have to remember that we all have a specific sort of sound in mind. We always hear Ed Boon screaming "Get over here," right?
I think that's the problem people have with it, is they're expecting Ed Boon to dub over it or something still. Yeah. But this is more in life based kind of movie. Yeah.
And honestly, it's more authentic in this case. Yeah. I think it might have, as much as cool as it would have been to have Ed Boon's voice come up at some point in the movie, which it might, I think it might have been kind of cheap and been too much of a callback to the old movie.
The thing is, if you hear Scorpion talking through the mask throughout scenes like that, and then you hear him yell "Get over here" in a perfectly sound-staged Ed Boon voice,
I could have edited it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think it would work. It would just be out of place. Now, if Scorpion doesn't say anything at all except for that "Get over here" line, it is going to be a missed opportunity.
I don't know. I'm happy with it. I think it sounds really good. They could make it sound a bit more, intense, I suppose. But I'm happy with it as is, to be honest.
As far as other cast members from the Mortal Kombat movie, the rest of the cast, including Todd Garner himself, jumped on a big, huge Zoom call and watched the trailer together and gave their own reactions. And that was pretty cool to see because, these actors have seen the movie as far as from their first person point of view. They've been involved with it, but they haven't actually seen it with all these special effects and things after that. And you get to see them surprisingly see these scenes that they helped create now with full special effects, like the Sub-Zero thing, for example. You see Sub-Zero's actor just like, bam, there it is. Like, that's what it was supposed to look like. And they're just all so excited to even to see themselves come on screen. They get excited.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't watched it yet, it's a great video to watch.
I love Taslim's reaction to how he grabs Jax's gun and then freezes it. Like, his eyebrows just like, whoa. And then he's like, yeah. It's so cool. It's nice to see the passion and the excitement.
Oh, yeah. And then throughout that interview, too, they do drop a couple things that are good to hear. They went on, I don't remember which actor it was. He went on to say that the fatalities that we've seen so far, like they pointed out how we just saw a supercut of all these fatalities. But one of the actors pointed out that the fatalities we've seen so far are just a small bit of what's actually in the movie. So, that was a big concern that we had when we watched that trailer live, was that we just saw the whole movie. But their reaction was like, oh, yeah, that's nothing. You guys aren't even ready for the rest of the movie.
That's very good news, honestly. I was kind of concerned about that.
A couple other points that they made. They did point out how the fan community, and I guess they're talking about us, noticed that Kano's eye was on the wrong side.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that and they said, oh, yeah, that was reversed in order to make it look better for the trailer.
Yeah. So that's what we said basically on our analysis.
Yeah, and then Todd Garner acknowledged that he had left Twitter, but the way that he talked about it made it sound like he left Twitter because he was working hard on finishing Mortal Kombat and not necessarily because of negative fan reactions and negative input from fans. And now that the trailer's out, he's back on Twitter and he's corresponding with everybody again. And, he's super excited and super happy with the reaction. I think that's the big thing, is the cast is so happy that we're happy with this trailer. So that's pretty cool.
It's nice to see their reactions, honestly. I mean, I've got it playing in silence right now while you're talking. It's heartwarming to see how happy they are with it, you know? It's really cool. And it's good to know that Todd Garner's back. I have a feeling that he left due to a combination of the things you just said. But, working on the movie with negative reactions coming in would probably be disheartening to have to deal with. So it's a good thing he left, I would say. People don't harass him. Come on, be nice. It's not cool. One thing I do want to say, like speaking of the cast, I'm just watching Kung Lao's actor Max Huang play the keyboard now. But
that goes to show how much of fans this whole cast has been. Like, he just sits down at the end of the interview and starts playing the Mortal Kombat theme because they like Mortal Kombat.
But I was gonna say, I am so excited to see Joe Taslim more now. Like, and as I said, when we first dropped the news of the script leaks and everything, and then we finally got the cast list coming out, and Joe Taslim being cast as Sub-Zero, I was so hyped because I really like Taslim's stuff, and just the action that I've seen of him based on this trailer alone has me so hyped to see what more he does as Sub-Zero.
Oh yeah. So another thing that they did during this this cast reaction video is they were discussing just how good of a director Simon McQuaid is, because he was able to tell this full functional story, not just within the movie, but within the trailer itself, because the trailer had, a beginning, a middle, and an end to get you invested in it. So that I'm assuming he had a hand in creating this trailer, which is amazing. Like, that's great news, because if he can tell a story like that during the trailer, then this movie's going to be in pretty good hands.
Yes. No, for sure. I'm really happy with what I've seen. You and I were very critical, as was a lot of the community, and that's coming from a place of love, right? I think we have tried to be fair. To be fair to ourselves, we have tried to be fair to them. But honestly, they should be proud of what I've seen, in my opinion. I think it looks amazing. And yeah, like we watched the director, Simon McQuaid, share secrets, his insight into the trailer. And that was really cool to hear.
Yeah, he did a full breakdown of the trailer itself in a video. What takeaways did you get from that, Yanni?
Honestly, the biggest thing I took away from this is that he knows and cares about the Mortal Kombat universe. He clearly demonstrated he understands that there are certain bits in the lore which people think this should happen and this should happen, but made it clear that, hey, like not everything has to stay the same. Some things do have to change. And he pointed to Jax's arms being taken by Ermac. And that's something that I've seen, which we didn't speak about in the fan reaction. People are complaining that Sub-Zero is taking Jax's arms rather than Ermac. And you have to remember that Jax's arms have been taken off by multiple different sources at this point. Even look at the Scorpion animated movie. It was Goro in that one instead, right? So he mentions like, hey, it can be different. And in this case, we wanted it to be Sub-Zero to demonstrate how much of a threat Sub-Zero is. And I think that's a great approach.
And, it makes sense for Sub-Zero to do it too, because you're freezing off the arms rather than Ermac just pulling him out of the socket, letting him bleed out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It makes a lot more sense, because Ermac was just like, if Ermac could do that at any point, then why did it only happen once? Why did he ever have to fight anybody? Whereas with Sub-Zero, he obviously grabs his arms, right? I don't know. To me, people saying that it should have been Ermac and not Sub-Zero, it's like, come on, guys. Like, of all the things that we're going to complain about, this thing is something that can most definitely change.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, there's small things like that I don't mind them changing for the movie, because this is a theatrical release. This is a new way of telling the same story.
Yeah.
Something else that one of our fans pointed out that we didn't even acknowledge during our trailer breakdown, the very end of the trailer, they are playing the Mortal Kombat theme with orchestral music.
Wait, what?
Yes. Did you not notice this?
No. I think I was focused on the visuals.
We should probably give a shout out to the fan that pointed it out to us, because I went back and re-listened to it after that, and I was like, oh my god, that is the Mortal Kombat like song that we're all used to, but it's played with like violins and things like that.
Oh, yes, you're right.
That was from Release the Canines. He said, "Not gonna lie, maybe ever so slightly disappointed that you guys didn't pick up on the fact that we got an orchestral version of Techno Syndrome at the end of the trailer." And
you
for
should
such
disappointed in us. I'm disappointed in us too.
him too.
Great catch.
Said, and for such pure voyeurs of Mortal Kombat the album as you boys are, would have thought you would have really got you pumped. But great episode. So
you are totally right.
yeah,
I honestly, what I think it is it's registered now, but it didn't register because it's Mortal Kombat, and I guess my brain expected it to be there.
that's the thing is it's a subtleness to it. You know,
Yeah.
it's playing it, but we're not used to hearing it in that way, and it just blends in with the rest of the trailer.
Oh man, yeah, I can't believe we didn't pick up on that. And the best part is I've seen people complaining that there's no Mortal Kombat
really?
theme song in there.
No, that makes it even better. Now we can. They'll be like, wrong.
That's amazing. Good catch, man. Good catch. And yes, be disappointed in us. One thing that I did love as well from the Simon McQuaid sort of interview or insight video was that, you know, the bit where they're like traveling and it shows a sort of mountainous area, like I don't know how to describe it, but I guess it's right before they find the temple or wherever they're traveling to. But it looks, basically it's Outworld, right? It's our first look at Outworld. And apparently this is a completely unedited shot. And McQuaid said that he found this like abandoned mine in Australia and he wanted it to just be filmed as is. And the way they did it looks so otherworldly or outworldly, haha. But it's perfect, and I really like that sort of dedication to trying to make things look as authentic and natural as possible.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, you know, not putting a big green screen in front of them and making them stand in awe of the green screen.
Yeah, and speaking of green screens, it's clear that, you know, they went as authentic as possible with the Saurian. That's obviously not a green screen. That is a completely true reptile.
The one that turns invisible.
Yeah, I'm making a stupid joke. But, speaking of which, though, in the Sharing Secret video, he doesn't say that it's reptile or even say it's a Saurian. He specifically says that he's pulling the heart out of another character regarding Kano. So that's
it could
interesting.
It could be an original character.
Yeah. Or for all we know, it could be Chameleon, you know? Chameleon finally getting some form of...
Oh, that'd be heartbreaking.
If anything, it's going to be a random Saurian or reptile, in my opinion.
I was rewatching Scorpion's Revenge last night, and they put in a lot of original monsters into that movie. So they could do the same thing here. They could just have some kind of original reptilian monster that's not Saurian.
Feels like they wouldn't do that, to be fair. Like, from what I've seen... Like, as I said, he really seems to be trying to be as close to the lore and accurate while telling the story and keeping things authentic. I don't feel like they'd throw in a random reptilian race like that.
That raises another complaint that I've seen from fans saying, how is this reptile? Have you not played the 3D era games? Or have you not seen Mortal Kombat 2's reptile without his mask? It could definitely be reptile.
I mean, even just looking at MK9 and MKX.
Yeah. He still has a reptilian look.
He's even in MK11. He's still pretty much a reptile, you know? Like, it might not be as, like, lizard-like as the 3D era became with, say, Deadly Alliance and one of his appearances in MKA. But
with his de-evolution.
Yeah, exactly. But that is even tied to his lore.
Yeah.
I mean, I myself, I'm not actually a fan of the lizard form. I prefer his human form. If anything, the best reptile, in my opinion, was actually from Shaolin Monks, where he was sort of ninja, sort of reptile in terms of appearance. But this makes perfect sense to me.
I think fans will be a lot happier when he ends up getting sucked into a statue and turning into a human to fight Kano.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. Nobody had a problem with that, but you have a problem with this? Like, I get it, you know, like, everybody's going to have their own issues and loves about the trailer and the movie itself. We are prime examples of that. And one thing we all have to remember is we're not going to be totally happy with everything. But based on what we've seen, I think that we should be excited. We're finally getting a Mortal Kombat movie after all these years, and it looks like it's being done justice. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, so kudos to the entire cast and everybody involved with the film, honestly.
So, I mean, with that being said, let's bring in our special guest for this week. We have Mr. Midnight Owl coming on, and he is our original Mortal Kombat script leaker from one of our past episodes.
Basically, the source of all the information of the movie until very recently.
Until the trailer actually came out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, let's bring him on, and we'll kind of get his input here on some of his opinions, and he might offer a little bit more insight to what we've seen so far. So, without further ado, welcome, Mr. Midnight Owl. Welcome back to the Realmcast. This is our Tarkon Bite-Side episode, Toasty Tuesday.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I think we've had you on every variation of the Realmcast so far. Good to have you back.
It is great to be here.
So we've already broken down the trailer on our last episode, and now we got you, the original Mortal Kombat script leaker, back on. And what are your thoughts? I mean, are you excited for this movie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just, it was one thing to read Greg Russo's words. It was another thing to see them take that and visually just, I don't know, the amount of excitement. Like, the trailer started really good, and then it was a lot of stuff that I already kind of knew about. And then as it kept building, I was like, oh yes, this is even better than what I was even reading. It's amazing because that trailer gives away 4 things that I mentioned back when you first interviewed me in September. 4 things have come to pass as being true that I said in that interview.
I mean, at this point, you can probably expect some possible spoilers from the movie. As we've kind of said in the past, the script has gone through revisions, and nobody's exactly sure what this newest script has in store for us. But let's just jump into some of those 4 things that you had previously mentioned that we're already seeing in this trailer.
All right, so the 4 things that came to pass that I said would be changed was 1. Cole Turner would have a new name, and he's now Cole Young. That he was going to be an MMA fighter instead of a boxer. Sonya would be special forces, and I mentioned that the opening scene would be different than what was in the original scripts.
Oh yeah, and it seems like the opening scene, from everything we've heard, also from the cast, is that it's going to be that Scorpion in feudal Japan scene.
Yes, I kind of picked up on that about a year and a half ago. I want to maybe a little bit before that, just based upon some rumors and then just getting bits of information. I kind of knew that's where they were going to go. And it made sense to me. As soon as I started getting the information on it, I kind of kept a lid on it, but I wanted to at least tease it when you interviewed me, because I knew they were going to be reworking the beginning sequence, because it just never flowed right. But this, oh my God, that trailer! I wasn't sure how Kano was going to feel, but seeing that end scene, that was absolutely fucking amazing. That was Kano to me.
Yeah.
That Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight scene.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still getting over that fight scene. I think I've watched it 3 times each day since the trailer's dropped.
Yes. I'm in the same way.
In our original interview, you had mentioned that seeing some of the behind the scenes choreography, you knew exactly where it would fall into place on the movie because of how well the script was written. I'm presuming that at this point, does it match what you kind of imagined just due to Greg Russo's detailed script writing?
Yeah. There's a few things where I'm like, okay, so that background's a little different. There's a shot with Raiden and Shang Tsung that they're standing apart in a hallway.
Yes. Yeah.
That is slightly different set wise. They had something else in mind, but I love visually what they did there.
Yeah, it seems like Simon McQuaid managed to capture what was there, what was written originally, and kind of saw Greg Russo's vision for this movie.
Oh yeah. The I believe, don't hold me to this because it's never outright stated in the screenplays. So unless they changed it with like the shooting script, or they did some rewrites on set, which I believe Greg Russo actually mentioned did happen. They did a couple quick rewrites here and there, and even some of the lines are ad lib. But the hallway where Raiden and Shang Tsung are staring each other down, that is kind of the equivalent of the Warrior Shrine, which you do see in the trailer with like Katana's fan being on display. And that's where the Kung Lao mural is. So there it's kind of like this, almost like a memorial of like all these past warriors and past tournaments.
That's cool.
And before anyone starts thinking anything negative, no, that does not mean Katana died. It's just like a giant living encyclopedia.
So speaking of Katana, there's actually been some new news released since our last recordings. IMDb has actually recently updated its page to say that Mel Jarnson, a Australian actress, has been cast or is in the Mortal Kombat movie with an unknown role. So a lot of fans are speculating that this could be the actress who is going to be playing Katana.
Yeah. I can tell you that she wasn't in the older drafts. Now, there's still some possibilities on who she could be playing within the script itself, but I don't think they'd be making such a big deal if it was like a one scene background character. So my guess is part of the, what was that, late November additional photography. I think they may have added Katana as a end credit scene. That's me
speculating.
Yeah, speculating, but it's just based on the fact that there's only so many characters that she could be, both video game characters and like regular people that are in the script.
And she has a very like unique look to her that would fit Katana's persona as far as we've seen in the previous Mortal Kombat games. So I think that's why that speculation's so high.
If she would really fit based on just appearance alone,
Yeah,
I would say that it's not that's not unbelievable. You know, so if people are thinking it's Katana, most likely you're going to be right. I would say that anyone who's been claiming that Katana has always been in this, they're not right. But I feel my guess would be just from early reactions, both, I wouldn't necessarily say the test screens. I think they already had all that filmed beforehand, but I would say the amount of backlash when people heard that Katana wasn't in it, I think they then set up to say, you know what, let's do one scene with her just to show that, you know, she's actually in this universe.
We haven't forgotten about her. Yeah.
And, you know, they do have plans for these characters. While there's no sequel in the works, you know, this idea that, hey, we're going to hold off these characters for the next movie, like Johnny Cage and Katana, that's going to allow them to take more of the spotlight rather than trying to fit them in to a movie that's already 2 hours long.
It's funny that you mentioned Johnny Cage, because that's been, as we were discussing earlier, that's been one of the biggest complaints that fans have had with this trailer, is that there is no Johnny Cage. And of course, you know, our listeners have expected that, but there's so many people out there that are shocked to see a Johnny Cage.
So many comments. Where's Johnny? What is this?
Yeah.
You know, I was surprised too the first time that I read it, because I know Greg Russo has really said that he's a big fan of the series, you know, and that he wanted to honor the original characters. But then when I read the script and kind of saw where they were going with it, it was like, okay, you know, this actually works really good. Kind of reminded me in the same sense of Jeff Roven's original Mortal Kombat novel that he wrote back in 1994. That had all sorts of characters, but didn't include Johnny Cage. But then after you read it, you're like, yeah, Johnny probably wouldn't work within this type of story. And that's how I feel with the movie as well. Honestly, I think Johnny would just feel like an amalgamation of multiple other characters. I don't think Cole takes anything from the Johnny character, but I feel like Johnny Cage would just be Liu Kang's fighting with Kano's personality.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So I could see why they didn't want to basically have a little bit of every character just to create another character. I think that would have taken away from those specific archetypes that they have.
So, I mean, I guess it's safe to say that you were a fan of this trailer.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a few things that I didn't really care for, but really minor. Well, one of the things I didn't like was the wasteland shot. I wasn't necessarily a fan of that just because for me, growing up playing Mortal Kombat 2, you see the backgrounds and like the wasteland was always shown as very ruins heavy. They had castles, statues.
Fair enough.
Like all this background detail. And I don't know if the effect shot is actually finished. There's been a couple hints I've seen in the trailers to make me think that maybe they only did so much special effects, like just enough to get this trailer done, and that they're still working to finalize a lot of the visual effects.
So you're talking about the Outworld scene, right? Where it shows Outworld.
Yeah, where it's Melina in the foreground looking away from us. And it like looks out. To me, it just didn't feel Outworld enough. It looked like they had a planet off to the left side up in the sky. But for me, there wasn't anything inspiring about that shot, you know. And of course, this movie is always going to be compared to the 1995 movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no getting away from that. And I can just think about all the set designs that movie had, and it was all practical.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some digital effects, obviously, but when you look at the Statuary Gardens, Shang Tsung's throne room, even the wasteland in that, you know, the wasteland in that was, there's a lot of detail to it. So I don't
live sets that were built just for the movie.
It's interesting that you say that, though, because right before you joined, we were talking about Simon McQuaid's comments and insights on the trailer itself. And he was actually quite proud of that shot because it's completely natural. It's just what you see on the camera. Yeah,
and I do give him a lot of respect for that with the fact that they used a real place to do that shot. I'm really hoping they're adding details to the background. Yeah. You know, something that when you look at it, like for me, I would want to tell a story just with that shot and really get people thinking. Now, I will say that that isn't all of what Outworld looks like. In fact, you get maybe 2 or 3 really quick glimpses in the trailer. Really quick. And they're not, you know, because people haven't read the scripts, they haven't really seen, you know, understand. They're not going to know what is what unless you really break down this trailer. Unless you really break down this trailer, you're not going to know. But they do show a couple other areas of Outworld, and obviously the Shao Kahn statue. That's a part of it.
The Cabal fight.
Yep. That's part of it too. The and a few others. So there is more to Outworld. It's not just going to be that wasteland shot. They have a variety of environments that you're going to see.
You know, that's cool to me that they are doing the wastelands part of Outworld. Because, I mean, when you think about Mortal Kombat 2 or even Outworld as a whole, you know, it's not just one little city. It's a whole world. It's a whole planet.
It's multiple realms put into one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I really like that. I really like that concept, and because I haven't seen the finished movie, I can't say for sure, but I'm really hoping that when it does come time where they show the different arenas, the different areas that they want to show, that they give each one its own distinct feel, so that it kind of creates that MK2 bizarro reality where, you know, the Wasteland was always like covered in darkness, and so was the Pit 2. But you always look like like every single skyline was completely different. Like it was a different color, it was a different time of day. I really like that. So I'm hoping that's something they're going to go with, where it just makes it feel like you're in, 8 or 9 different worlds.
That'd be cool to see.
As Outworld should be, yeah.
Well, I mean, were there any other insights you had to this trailer? Like anything else that you really loved about it, or that you want to point out that fans have been talking about?
I think a lot of the details, like I'm just as excited seeing, the icicle that the blood icicle Sub-Zero stabbing Scorpion with. Like that's a really cool detail. You know, I have all the same reactions that a lot of the fans have watching the trailer. Like I'm there, like I think I rewatched it 5 or 6 times just to start soaking in the details. I'm really interested to see Cole's battle gear.
Yes.
Getting some of the close-up screen captures where you can tell he's wearing something. It's like form-fitting armor or something.
Yeah.
The armor looks really cool, especially along with that tonfa.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a tonfa or a sword.
I think it's been confirmed to be a tonfa. That's why I say that. We couldn't tell either. It was a bit blurry, right?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I've read that it's been confirmed to be a tonfa, and that's pretty cool if so.
I'm really hoping they go for a variety, because one of the things I really liked was the characters that were chosen for this story, both for Outworld and Earthrealm, were chosen for their varieties so that each fight would feel different. You wouldn't be getting the same generic fights. So I'm really excited that with Cole, they're pushing a certain style with him. And if he's going to have tonfas, that's great. That's going to be different than hopefully how Cabal uses hook swords. That's going to be different than how Kano uses a knife, how Jax uses his cybernetic arms. So there's a certain variety to the fights that I'm very excited to see.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing too is just I can tell you some of the shit that they actually added that wasn't in the screenplay.
Oh yeah, what did you got?
Well, first off, they changed the opening scene, which we got glimpses of. They changed the ending, or some of the stuff in the third act. I won't give all that away just yet. Every shot that I saw that would take place in Act 3 exists. So I was able to check it, but then I noticed a lot of things that just didn't exist in the script. I was like, okay, that's cool, but I'll keep that under wraps so that there's been a lot of speculation, and I want to keep people speculating on that.
You mean the whole who is Cole Turner speculation?
Not just that.
That he doesn't want to say, I'm guessing, without spoiling.
Yeah.
So I think that's good.
Yeah.
I have to say, you've done a great job, in my opinion, of giving us information, but not giving us too much to the point where I feel like what you're telling us is spoiler worthy. I honestly think what you've told me has literally just made me more excited for the movie, and couple that with the actual trailer reveal, I think that you're handling it well. So continue, please.
Thank you.
Don't pry any information out of you.
that was one of my goals with this, was to try not to spoil actual big moments in the movie. Yeah. I know some people don't care about that, but I have enough respect for Greg, Todd, and Simon that I'm not going to come on here and just ruin their whole fucking project that they, in Greg's case, it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years that he's been working on this. But the other thing that wasn't in was the fire dragon. Liu Kang's fatality there.
Yeah,
that was different in the script, but they did not have the actual fire dragon.
That's cool.
So when I seen that, I was like, "Ooh, that is a good money shot right there."
Yeah,
that was perfect.
Hearing this too, there are so many fans out there who think they know the whole story because of leaked scripts in the past. That gives them hope to expect unexpected things like this. I mean, they're not, like, as we've stated before, this isn't the exact same movie that's already been leaked out there. There's been so many touch-ups and polishing of the script. So,
I can say this much: the opening shots with Jax walking up the staircase and then getting surprised by Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
That is entirely changed. Like the generic idea is the same. But the execution is completely different.
Nice.
There was no, I'm pretty sure that's not any trailer trickery. Him walking up the steps is part of that sequence. And that did not exist in the previous drafts. Neither was I don't believe I'm going off memory here. It's been a while since I fully read both scripts, all the scripts I have. But the shot of Sub-Zero freezing the pellets coming out of the shotgun.
Yeah.
That was not in it. That was
okay.
not in the scripts. They actually added that. But the him freezing the shotgun was, and him freezing Jax's arms and shattering them was. That was in a later draft.
Let me ask you this. The various frozen scenes that we've seen through the movie, is that all in the same act or the same scene? Or is it basically every time Sub-Zero shows up, he freezes everything?
It was implied in the script that he can freeze the environment around him. I believe all the shots they showed of frozen environments, that is all the part of the same scene with Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting.
Wow. So that's exciting to hear, because that means there's a lot of movie we haven't seen yet.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's I think other than like really, really quick clips, the majority of the trailer was actually taken from Sonya's house, which is where she's telling Cole the backstory. You see her pointing to the wall of evidence.
I have to say, I have to interject there because you're mentioning Sonya. I love that. I'm pretty sure I read that Sonya's actress didn't actually realize that she was narrating the trailer until after she watched it or something. I really love that.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say, I love that actress because I know how obsessed you are with her.
Hey, don't get me wrong. She is quite pretty.
She really does feel like Sonya. And
Yeah.
I like the fact that, how do I want to say this? She feels a little bit more sensitive. Because it always seems like, for whatever reason, they just want Sonya to act, I don't know.
Super cold.
Yeah, like,
Hard. Yeah.
it's like, and she just acts like an asshole.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that she's feeling a little bit more like a mentor.
Or like a human.
Yeah.
Oh, I found the tweet. It was Jessica McNamee, or McNamee. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but so cool, right? I didn't know that I was narrating until yesterday when I saw the trailer for the first time.
Oh, that's awesome.
So cool.
But yeah, the that shot, that takes up a big chunk of the trailer. Obviously, Sub-Zero and Scorpion's fight does. And then there's the shit in feudal Japan, and there's like one or two other scenes that a lot of the footage is taken from, and then you just get this smorgasbord of just random clips.
Mhm.
So yeah, there is a hell of a lot of footage that you haven't seen yet.
Nice.
A hell of a lot. So
and the cast reaction kind of stated that as well. So I'm super excited because I was worried myself that we got shown too much, and that is pretty much a staple with Hollywood trailers nowadays. So I'm very happy to hear there's a lot more.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, is there anything else you want to add before we close this out?
not at this time. I think everyone is going to be really, really excited when they see this movie come April. I know everyone's had their own fears and worries, and yeah, maybe the trailer still hasn't convinced you yet, but I still think come April, you're going to be walking out of that theater screaming.
Yes.
I mean, just knowing what they have planned, it's going to look like the Mortal Kombat 1 commercial with everyone coming out into the street doing Mortal Kombat.
Well, I know, I can tell we're all very hyped. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm really excited to see how things go. Thanks for joining us on this Toasty Tuesday. And yeah, thank you so much, Brandon, Mr. Midnight Owl, for returning to join us. It's always fun to have you back on.
I agree. Thank you so much for having me.
To our listeners, let us know what you think of everything we've spoken about. What was your reaction to the trailer? What do you think of Sanada's comments, the cast reaction, the little insights from Simon McQuaid? And what do you think of the sort of changes and confirmations that Mr. Midnight Owl shared with us? We're looking forward to bringing you the next episode of the Rumcast very soon. We dropped a little teaser Generations last video, so it's coming soon. As usual, please like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.